to dive into the concept of my mind's and the neural pathways, I think without some way to stimulate me, without, I guess, say it more simple and more layman's, without drugs to stimulate my neural pathways, to keep my dopamine train on the right pathway, I believe there would be other ways that I would find excitement in a dopamine pathway. And I feel like that's why some people do the things that they do, because they couldn't figure out how to please themselves and stim themselves, so they figured out destructive ways, and they figured out that they like it more than the other ways, and they stick to it regardless of what other people say. And that's a really annoying voice when I think about it. What I'm saying is, if I didn't smoke weed, I'd probably be doing something way worse. So if you hate me for doing drugs, then woof, you'd hate me for doing other shit too. I've been trying to explain this for years when people ask me why I smoke weed and blah this, blah that. And I think I finally came up with the best concept. I'm not quite sure, but clearly I gave the chef a kiss, so I like it. But the way that my thoughts work off of weed is basically like, there's points all over the piece of paper, but I want the dots to form in a straight line, but it won't. And the paper is like a normal 8x10 piece of paper that you'd get in school that's completely blank. And the whole entire fucking paper is filled with dots, but you couldn't tell because there's so many of them you thought the paper was black. And that is my thoughts off of drugs. Well, off of weed. And I asked my thoughts process a little bit differently, but still in a straight line, but it's more like in depth. Like, I'm seeing the line, but I'm also seeing everybody's faces and their fucking eyelashes in the line. That's how fucking, not only straight the line is, but how much I'm paying attention to the fucking line and ass compared to weed. But weed, it makes me focus on my thoughts more compared to just do it. And when I say like that, I mean, when I'm sober, we're both surprised about what the fuck I'm about to say. I don't know what I'm about to say. You don't know what I'm about to say. So we just here experiencing it. When I am high, for a handful of reasons, I'm not only thinking about the thoughts more, but because I'm high, I'm thinking if I say this, they're going to assume it's because of weed and then ostracize weed and then make it hard for other people to smoke weed. And I'm the one that ruins weed for everyone. Because I don't know about you, but every time I go to new locations and they have a sign that says, please don't do this, some of the things I'm like, I would fucking never do that. And some of the things I'm like, who the hell was dumb enough to make? Because somebody has had to do it for most rules to be rules. Not everything, but a lot of them. I'm like, who in the world was dumb enough to molest an alligator? Who the fuck was dumb enough to jump off this bridge? Motherfucker, I can't even see the ground. The fuck? Why would you? Oh, suicidal, never mind. On both occasions, but that's besides the point. And the reviews. Because believe it or not, I'm making notes of everything that is currently going on. It's rather if I make it known, blah this, blah that. But I'm taking notes on a lot of interactions because I'm not going to redo something I don't fucking like. Like, I didn't like it the first time. Why the fuck would I like it the 53rd time? But goes back to the, if I like it, I'm gonna like it the 53rd time, 55th time. Like soccer, I play that every fucking day, all the time. I love it. That's my, like, I don't do it every day, but I do it every chance I could get. And if I had 24 hours to do something, soccer's definitely gonna be incorporated into it. Workout's gonna be incorporated. Poetry's getting incorporated. Like, all the loves in my life is getting incorporated into that 24 hours. Back on track. I lost the track. I'm gonna use this to run it back so I can rerun it back, okay? The reviews are so much better, honestly. Because of the fact that I'm worried about people taking a bad, negative connotation to weed because of how I may act off of it. Because I'm gonna act like I'm gonna act, but that's because of me. And most people like to use drugs and scapegoat. Drugs like alcohol, drugs like coke, drugs like weed, drugs like heroin, blah this, blah that. But I feel like it kind of goes back to the whole entire money thing, where money doesn't make you a monster. Money just shows people who you truly are. Drugs don't make you a monster. Drugs just show people who you truly are. But maybe that's just my belief. I don't really care. So, me on drugs just makes me want to be able to use all the energy that I have so I can finally fucking sleep a good night's sleep. But at the same time, just use the energy. But because I have so much energy, it doesn't always convey itself in the most subtlest, friendly way. And The reviews are so much better, honestly. As a kid, I've always had, I'm gonna call it stage energy because it's kind of, why aren't you sitting the fuck down right now? We're supposed to be sitting down. We're supposed to be focusing. Like, why do you keep moving? We're supposed to be in church. You're supposed to be focusing. You're supposed to be in school. You're supposed to be focusing. You're supposed to be on the bus. Why the fuck are you moving? You're in the car. Sit the fuck down. Like, I call it stage energy because it's like, I'm an entertainer and I always want to move. I always want to move. I've had so many people entertain, so many people entertain. Even if it's just me and all the things inside my head, or if it's just you and me, or if it's just you and me and all the things inside my head, because even if it's just me, I know I'm not alone. So, weed helped me calm down and stop being the always moving. Like, I'm always moving, but I'm not always visibly moving. I'm fidgeting where you can't see. When I was younger, I was fidgeting where you could see. I was bouncing out the walls because I ain't had no ADHD thing to help me. But, hey, I fixed me because nobody else would. Nobody else would, nobody else could. I was too poor for anybody to give a shit. I was too poor for anybody to notice it. I was too poor to afford the things I needed to be able to be somebody successful in the society. I was too poor to fit in, but eventually I will be so rich. They will be asking me, what did I do to become who I am today? Well, I'll tell you. I did me when everybody else was trying to do me too. They fucked me so much, I don't know which version of me is me anymore. So I'm just like, well, might as well invite them all and let them live with me. I use every single version that people have taught me to be the best version of me, because eventually I may need this version of me. Maybe not, but we'll keep them in the back room just in case I need to get something out the back room.